When Anissa tries to do the same thing with Omni-Man that she did with Invincible, we open high in the atmosphere. Nolan is floating in the silence, hands behind his back. Listen to his inner monologue. Being Emperor is a debt paid in constant vigilance. You can feel the weight on him. He didn't want this throne, he took it to save his people, but his moment of peace is shattered instantly. Anissa tears through a portal, arriving with a sonic boom. She doesn't bow, she doesn't ask for permission. She tells him straight up, the Empire doesn't just need a leader, it needs a future. This is our first red flag. Anissa isn't here to serve, she's here to make demands. The pleasantries are dead. Anissa gets right in his face. She reveals that the High Council is restless. They see an emperor without a pure-blooded heir and they smell weakness. She frames this proposal as a political necessity, but her language is cold and scientific. She tells him we are the only two strong enough to silence them. Then she drops the craziest line, to deny me is treason against our biology. To Anissa, this isn't about love or connection, it's a math equation. She believes that because they are the two strongest Viltrumites left, they are obligated by nature to breed. Anissa moves from aggression to seduction. She places her hand on the Emperor's chest, right over the Viltrumite logo. She tries to tempt him with the one thing old Nolan used to care about, power. She says, think of the power, Nolan, there would be a god among Viltrumites. She is offering him a legacy that could rule the universe. She challenges him to acknowledge the logic of it. And Nolan, he looks her dead in the eye. He says, you want an acknowledgement? Fine. But if you look at his face, you can tell he isn't acknowledging her logic, he's preparing to shatter it. And here is the rejection. It delivers a massive physical blow. Nolan shoves her back with enough force to crack the air. He shouts, I am not a prize for you to claim based on a blood chart. This is the new Nolan speaking. He attacks her core belief system. Anissa thinks purity will save them, but Nolan hits her with the hard truth. Purity is what left our world a graveyard. He realizes that their obsession with being the strongest is exactly what nearly drove them to extinction. He tells her he came back to stop them from becoming monsters again. He's drawing a line in the sand. The debate turns philosophical. They are floating apart now, two ideologies at war. Anissa mocks him, claiming his time among humans. The insects has made him delusional. She argues they are the peak of evolution and must conquer the stars. But Nolan drops the mic here. He says conquest isn't evolution, Anissa, it's a loop. And breaking the circle, that is strength. This is deep. He's telling her that true strength isn't about how hard you can punch, it's about the ability to change. He tells her to stop looking at DNA and start looking at the people she is supposed to protect. Anissa completely loses it. She screams, spittle flying, calling humans cattle and tools. She insults Mark, saying he rotted Nolan's brain, and calls the Emperor a broken old man clinging to a ghost. This is the moment where old Nolan would have killed her. But new Nolan, he delivers the most iconic line in this arc. He looks at her calmly and says, if believing in something other than conquest makes me broken, then I will gladly stay broken. That is self-acceptance. He is wearing his humanity-like armor. He'd rather be weak and good than strong and evil. Words have failed, so Anissa resorts to violence. She grabs the Emperor by his collar, snarling like a wild animal. She threatens a coup, saying, I won't let you throw our legacy away. I will drag you back to the throne myself. She is committing mutiny right to his face, but look at the bottom panel. Nolan grabs her wrist. It's firm, it's terrifying. He leans in and whispers the coldest warning possible. You've mistaken my patience for indecision, Anissa. That was your final mistake. You can feel the energy building up for what comes next. Boom, creates a shockwave that splits the clouds. Nolan blasts her back, screaming, I have given you my answer, do not compel me to provide a second. Anissa is tumbling through the air, genuinely shocked that he would strike her for the sake of cattle. Nolan stands there glowing with solar energy and lays down the law. He calls their old traditions shackles and calls the Viltrumites a dying race of butchers. He tells her bluntly, I am choosing a future that you aren't strong enough to even imagine. He is redefining what it means to be a Viltrumite right in front of her. The battle is over. Anissa tries to get the last word in, shouting that the High Guard won't follow an emperor who values the weak. But Nolan does the ultimate sign of disrespect. He turns his back on her. He tells her, then they will learn to adapt, just as I did. He gives her an ultimatum, find your post or find another empire. I am done explaining. And with a sonic boom, he flies off to mend a galaxy, leaving her in the dust. He doesn't look back. He proves that a true king doesn't need to argue, he just leads. We end with Anissa alone in the sky. She watches him leave, realizing he didn't just fly away, he cast her out. But this isn't a happy ending. Look at her face in that final panel. She isn't convinced, she's vindictive. She thinks to herself, the Empire won't follow a philosopher, I'll be waiting when your future falls apart. She is betting on his failure. This sets the stage for a civil war within the Empire itself. Nolan has the crown, but Anissa has the old guard. The question is, can Nolan change his people before they turn on him? And that is how you write character development. Nolan chose being a father over being a conqueror. What do you guys think? Is Anissa right? Is Nolan doomed to fail? Let me know in the comments, and please be sure to like, share and subscribe for more. Thank you, and you can watch here what happens when Thor fights with Battle Beast.